It has been a minute. I think the last episode of Queens that we did was what, a month ago basically. I think they went like a 3 week hiatus. So let's get into this quick. Because the finale actually airs tomorrow. This is Queens season 1, episode 12. Let the past be the past. A lot happened this episode. A lot of loose ends are starting to get tied up because we are approaching the end of the season. I thought Queens would get 20 episodes. I'm not gonna lie, but they got more than 10, and I can appreciate that because I've enjoyed the show. Um, we open with Naomi and Eric in bed, and they're just reflecting over everything that's happened, and says he's always wanted to be with Naomi and he's willing to prove it because she needs to know that she can trust him. And we actually hear Miguel's Adorn playing as we enter the show. And the one thing I will say about Queens, and same thing with Power and a few other shows out there, they've never gotten it wrong with the music. They don't get it wrong with music or fashion. You can tell that this show is FUBU. You can tell that the show is for us by us for sure. And I love the fact that we have heard Miguel so much because we actually heard Miguel. I think it was simple things that we heard when Bree's husband passed in that episode. Then we see Valeria with her husband in the waiting room of some doctor's office, and they're refreshing the feed on the phone to see if the charts have updated, to see where her single, her debut solo single, Eso Lo Tengo, has debuted. And it actually is number one on the Latin charts. And after that, we see Jill at the Queen studio on the treadmill working out, and she's actually on her tablet watching the trial proceedings go on for Darren, and then turns it off and just continues her workout. And then we see Valeria and her husband again at the doctor's office in the waiting room again, and then she ends up going to get her checkup and all of that good stuff because she needs to be cleared to go on tour. And the doctor lets her know that they see some things in the ultrasound and that she may have uterine cancer. Back at the house, the family's talking about Muffin's album and, Zadie launching at Coachella, just in time for her tour. And the label is actually broke. But Valeria has sold out the first 5 nights of her solo tour, and the label is actually depending on her tour because it's going to be the only income for a while. Speaking of income troubles and label being broke, Eric wants to release the 20th anniversary edition of the Queen's album, Heart of Queens. And this is back when they were the Nasty Bees. And the only thing is they need an okay from Bree to make sure that she's okay with it. And as they call her, they see the verdict pop up on the phone, or the verdict is in as an update on Naomi's phone. And they end up watching the TV as it updates. And they find out that he's guilty of attempted murder. And then after that, they play an audio of Darren getting the decision and the verdict and all of that good stuff, and he's going off on some rant about Jill, and this isn't justice. The real person and the real problem is Jill. She should be here. She caused all this, and it actually makes Jill upset. She tries to brush it off like she's not upset, but she actually is. After that, we see Valeria and her husband in a parking lot, and she's doing the typical Valeria thing, pushing him away, saying that she's broken and she's this and she's that. But he reaffirms and says, "Listen, I told you yes. I said sickness and health, and that he's down to take care of her through anything." And it turns out she doesn't have cancer. She just has fibroids, which will require surgery and even potentially a hysterectomy if she doesn't act soon. So she also has to decide if she wants kids or not, and she has to decide right now because of her age. Valeria's 40. It's not necessarily old, but at the same time, for a woman, and a woman who has been through the things that Valeria's been through, such as altering herself and taking different things and, all of that good stuff, is in great shape. But, she's done a million things to prevent aging and all of that good stuff. But, the internal clock sometimes, and depending on what we've done to ourselves, has different plans. So it's time for her to decide if she wants to have kids. We see Muffin with Jill back at the house, and Jill is clearly rattled about the whole situation with Darren and all the things that he says, but Muffin lets Jill know she's not to blame. Then we see Valeria and her husband back at the studio talking about having kids or not. They're going back and forth deciding, if they want to do it, if they don't want to do it, is it too soon? And her husband says he wants to do it. He wants a family with her and only her, and Valeria reaffirms that he's the only good thing in her life. And at the end of the day, if that's what he wants to do, then she wants to do it too. And she doesn't want to mess up what they have. And she's down to do it, even if that means postponing her tour. Then we see Eric come downstairs back at the house, and Naomi's like, "Where you going? You smell good." He's going to run errands. She asked him about the Queen's re-release of the album, and he says everything is all good. Well, then we cut to the restaurant and see him with Robin Givens of all people, and she happens to be his ex-wife, and she is the same vindictive, sneaky Robin Givens that we know her to be on different shows, and with so many different characters that we've seen her do. She's still crazy Robin Givens, but we love that about her. That's why she's still around. Turns out his ex-wife is the one of the co-owners of the Masters, and he needs her to release the Masters and relinquish her portion of the rights so that he can re-release the album for a 20th anniversary, so they can get some coins because the label is broke and they need to be able to get that revenue off of repackaging the album and putting some new songs on there, all of that good stuff. And she makes it a little bit difficult. She's like, "Listen, I got to keep the Masters, you got to keep the house in the Hamptons," which eventually got foreclosed on. That's just what it is. And in the middle of the conversation, she says, "Okay, it's fine, whatever. You don't have to beg." But then she sees JoJo call, and she thinks that's his new girlfriend. And she's like, "She kind of young." He's like, "No, that's my daughter." And then it all snaps into place. And Robin's like, "Wait a minute, your daughter? She's 20. She belongs to who I think she belongs to." Basically referring to Naomi. And then she's pissed. She's angry. She's distraught. And she storms out, and she also changes her mind about the Masters. Naomi is with Valeria back at the house discussing her cancer scare as well as this impending motherhood. And turns out Naomi supports her decision. These two have gotten a lot closer, and it's a real big difference than what we've seen since the beginning of the show when they were fist fighting back and forth and all of that. Then Eric comes in. After that, Muffin and Jill run into Tina, and Tina's girlfriend comes up, which causes Muffin to spit her coffee out. Back at the house, Eric tells Naomi about Robin, and Naomi is pissed about the Masters, but also the fact that Eric didn't tell the truth about where he was going when she asked him where he was going, and he said errands. And Naomi storms off pissed. She's like, "You, at the end of the day, the things that come out of your mouth, especially 'I love you,' just don't seem to be true coming out your mouth." We cut back to Tina and her girlfriend Chantel and Muffin and Jill. And Muffin calls Chantel over like, "You don't want to be here when they need to talk. So we gonna give them some space." So they go talk, and you hear Muffin like, "So how's it how is it being two tall chicks together, or whatever?" Because I think when Muffin first rolled up with Jill, she looks at Tina and she's like, "Have you always been this tall?" And sidebar, Tina has a whole new look. And Tina, the actress I believe who plays her name is Felicia Sorrell. Her and Robin Givens actually did a show together, probably I want to say 2 years ago on the OWN network called Ambitions. Ambitions was that show. Essence Atkins was actually on that show. Ambitions was the show. And they got canceled after one season. It really gave you a Tyler Perry have and have nots oval type of situation, but it was a great show, and I'm still pissed that it got canceled. If you got on demand, I believe it was on Stars on demand for a moment, but it's probably still on demand somewhere. But yeah, just a great damn show. Ambitions, I enjoyed Ambitions. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But yeah, getting back into that. Tina tells Jill all she really needed to do was apologize, and she has yet to do it. And Tina also says, "You know what? I don't even need your apology because at the end of the day, you're lost, you're alone, and I feel bad for you because I know that's the thing that you fear the most." Valeria is at the studio. Jill also lets her know, the thing that keeps me up at night is the things I did to you, and you thinking that I really never loved you, or whatever the case may be. And then they part ways. Valeria is at the studio on her laptop reading about IVF, being, again, paranoid, pessimistic, just a wet blanket about it. And her husband is the ultimate optimist. I guess this is where they kind of balance each other out because she's always ready to jump off a cliff and he's always ready to pull her back like, "Listen, we got this." And he's just reaffirming that, "Listen, this is going to be okay." Even down to the point where it annoys her. He's like, "Listen, I'm not scared. It's a little bit different from me, but you shouldn't be scared. We're going to try, and if it don't work out, we'll move on to something else." And he's just a real laid-back, easy breezy dude. He's not really, into hysterics like Valeria is, which is, a good thing. She needs somebody to calm her the hell down because she be having people ready to shake her. Like, for real, like, just, yo, chill. Stop. Robin and Naomi meet at the studio to discuss the masters, and Robin brings up Eric and his relationships with Naomi and Valeria, and the whole group, and how the group really was the centerpiece of their marriage. They were married for 6 years, and Robin says, I always knew something for the 6 years that we were married to each other, that there was something that held him back. There was a way that he would speak about you, and the look in his eyes, and the passion that he would speak with, that he never gave me when we were married. And she said then she found a letter that he wrote Naomi saying that it's you and it's always been you. And basically I think Naomi, I feel that she's grown a lot since the beginning of the show, because I feel like the Naomi that we met would have rolled up and fought Robin immediately and wouldn't have thought twice about it. She would have swung first and then, asked questions later, or whatever the case may be. But I think we're seeing more of Naomi and less of explicit lyrics. And she actually sits Robin down and says, listen, I've been learning a lot about holding grudges and things that I've missed out on. And I'm learning that at the end of the day, holding grudges and holding on to stuff that we really don't have any control over doesn't do anybody good. I can't make you do what I want, but at the same time, I know that you holding on to this is not going to make you any happier. And after that, we see Muffin and Jill at the studio discussing Tina. And Jill says Tina should accept her apology, because at the end of the day, she didn't really mean to hurt her. But Muffin says, well, I ain't exactly hear you apologize. And Muffin also tells Jill to stop holding on to the guilt from Tina or from Darren, because, it's not doing her any good. And if she really wants to let go and get it off her chest, she should do what she usually does, which is take it to the mic. And she takes it to the mic and records a song about Tina. It actually samples Darren's crazy rant. And the song is an apology to Tina, and I believe Tina actually gets the video, and she looks not surprised, but she looks happy and looks comforted about the fact that Jill grew up and owned up to what took place. Then we see Valeria doing the IVF process with her husband, getting the shot, of course, and she looks unsure and uncomfortable. And I'm not sure how this is going to end up. I really hope that she does end up pregnant, because I think that her marriage to this dude is one of the things that, like she said, is one of the good things for her. Naomi is back at the house with Eric, and she tells him Robin signed off on the masters, and then she lays with him because he says, are we good? And it looks to be a confirmation as she lays up with him that they are good, and it also looks like she forgives him. And then she lays there for a second and says that she loves him. And finally, we get to the Heart of Queen's 20th anniversary party, and they discuss Brie coming back or not, and it seems that they're still in touch with her because they FaceTime and all of that good stuff. And then we see Sophia Chang get on the stage. Now, if you don't know who Sophia Chang is one of, the GOATs in hip-hop. She has managed Wu-Tang and, A Tribe Called Quest and, Q-Tip's solo career. And I believe RZA, and I believe she even managed ODB for a second. And just an incredible person in hip-hop. She also has a great book out right now. I think it's called The Baddest Bee in the Room. And I think it even won an award. And also, she produced Project Runway All-Star. So if you don't know Sophia Chang, look her up, look up her life, look up her career. She's dope. She is hip-hop. For those of you wondering who she was, because I know a lot of you were. So we get to the party again, and it appears that the girls are considering reuniting and, really doing it again. Because Sophia invites him to the stage, and the crowd is like, yo, let's go, let's do this. Screaming for him, get up there. And then we see all three ladies arrive to the studio, and it looks like they're preparing to rehearse together and maybe get back together, do a tour. And then we see the preview of the next episode. And finally, in the finale, we see what I've been wondering, and I've been asking the entire time on Twitter, been asking y'all, why didn't we see a paternity test from Naomi, Cam, and Eric? Because she definitely told them both that they were the fathers. And there was never a test. It was just assumed that it was Eric, and then, Eric, JoJo, and Naomi were this happy family. But no, and I knew something was up, because I needed to see what was happening as far as Cam. Like, we never got a confirmation that she told Cam he wasn't dad. We never got nothing. It was just, okay, there was no more Cam. So he's going to pop up in the finale, and he is filing for paternity to see if JoJo is his. And we also may see the return of Brie. I don't know. They're teasing the return of Brie. I don't know if Eve maybe had filmed this before she left to, go on maternity leave and have her baby. Maybe she did film this final scene, before leaving. Because, they don't film episodes in order all the time. Sometimes they film episodes out of order. And with her pregnancy, loading, maybe they did decide to film how her show ends or how her storyline ends, before filming the final episodes. And, or at least her scenes anyway with the ladies. So yeah, that is gonna be the finale. Shout out to Eve, by the way, who just had her first baby. Speaking of her pregnancy, she had her son, named Wolf, and yeah, this is dope. So Eve, I think is it Wolf Wild? I'm not sure. I forget. Because I know there was somebody else that just had a kid named Wolf, but I know his name is Wolf too. WOLFE. But yeah, that was Queen. So what did y'all think of the episode? Do you think Eve is gonna come back? Who do you think is the father? Did you think that this would actually circle back around with Cam, Eric, and JoJo and the paternity? And what do you think of this episode? I thought we got a lot accomplished. I thought a lot got done. What do you think, and what are you expecting from the finale? And what have you thought of the season so far? And yeah, don't forget to like, rate, comment, subscribe. Sorry for the delay, but I had things to do. I had my mom's birthday, so that's another thing. And then with the 3-week hiatus, I was just the schedule was off, man. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. Thank you to the little tiny YouTube community that tunes in to this. And yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow for the finale. Later.